WAND's Chris Carter sat in on that news conference. He's live in Springfield with what was said. Chris?
Well, Sean, today we learned that two of the victims, Christopher Miller and Billy Gibbons, worked in the same department as that suspect that opened fire last Friday. We also know that they were in close proximity to each other when they were shot multiple times. Now, Police Chief Kenny Winslow also told us that multiple shots were fired and 13 shell casings were recovered from Bunn-O-Matic. The suspect did use two different 9mm guns in the shooting. And after shooting Miller and Gibbons in the warehouse, he then shot Marcia Strumpfer in the parking lot and then left the area before police arrived. Chief Winslow said his officers and the tactical team know the Bunn warehouse and trained for exactly what happened on Friday.
We have done active shooter training. We have been through the Bunn building for floor plans. My emergency response team has been through there, et cetera. I don't know exactly when the last time they were. It is something that we often do in our larger facilities to make sure we have that information. There's certain things we do, which I'm not going to get into here, that help us tactically as we go through buildings. And then if an incident does occur, we have that information we can draw upon.
Now, Winslow said there were other employees in the area when that shooting happened. Right now, it's unclear if the three victims were actually targeted by the suspect. Now, Springfield police are continuing to interview witnesses along with friends and family of both the suspect and all the victims. They're also looking at the suspect's online history. The chief told us today that despite all of his people's efforts, all of the investigators' efforts, they may never know a motive to why this shooting took place. Reporting live in Springfield, Chris Carter, WAND News. Well, Sean, Police Chief Kenny Winslow says that his officers and detectives are doing everything they can to try and get all the answers that they possibly could get, but they might not ever get them.
We kind of know the who, what, when, where, and how. We're missing the why. We're trying to make sense of a senseless situation, and we're trying to do that in an effort to provide those answers to the victim's family and the public.
Now, we learned today that two of the victims, Christopher Miller and Billy Gibbons, worked in the same department as the shooter and were sitting near each other when they were shot multiple times. His connection to Marcia Strumpfer is not known. Chief Winslow told us that multiple shots were fired and 13 shell casings were recovered from the scene. Now, after shooting Miller and Gibbons in the warehouse, the suspect was said to have shot Marcia Strumpfer in the parking lot and then left before police arrived. Tonight, the officers that responded are being provided assistance for the trauma that they experienced that day.
I went through a traumatic experience. They performed amazingly well under the pressure. With that said, we've been checking on their well-being. We will be doing a critical stress debriefing, offering services to them. We also have a peer support program where an officer can reach out to somebody within the department or somewhere else in law enforcement, not through our department, but maybe another law enforcement professional elsewhere. And we also have a chaplain program that's been involved since day one of this incident.
Now, police are also conducting an online investigation into the suspect's history through digital, social media, what he might have searched online. We also know that he had a valid FOID card that he obtained legally, and both of the guns that he had, he also obtained legally. Reporting live in Springfield, Chris Carter, WAND News. Well, Sean, today we learned two of the victims, Christopher Miller and Billy Gibbons, worked with the suspect. They both were sitting next to each other when they were shot. Marcia Strumpfer, here in the middle, was shot in the parking lot. Her relationship with the suspect is still not clear.
We will exhaust every lead that we come upon.
A police chief's commitment to get answers.
We're missing the why.
Why? Why did a man open fire inside Bunn-O-Matic and take the lives of three innocent people?
We're trying to make sense of a senseless situation, and we're trying to do that in an effort to provide those answers to the victim's family and the public.
Christopher Miller, 25, a brother, a son, a fiance. Bill Gibbons, 61, a father, a husband, a friend. Marcia Strumpfer, 54, a wife, a friend, a mother. Getting their family's answers is the goal. It could be impossible.
We will exhaust every lead that we come upon in an effort to answer the questions that the families deserve answers to, but in the end, we may not be able to do that.
All three of the victims gunned down while at work. Springfield's chief of police, Kenny Winslow, providing new details on Wednesday. The suspect used 2 guns, one to shoot and kill Aumiller and Gibbons as they sat near each other. He used another to kill Strumpfer in the parking lot as he left the warehouse. Both guns were obtained legally, and the suspect had a valid FOID card.
We believe he is the lone suspect. We don't believe he worked in conjunction with anybody else. We believe he is our only suspect.
The suspect got away before police arrived. The first officer was on the scene within 1 minute. Chief Winslow revealed Wednesday past training at the facility helped them in their response. They knew the layout of the warehouse.
It is something that we often do in our larger facilities to make sure we have that information. There's certain things we do, which I'm not going to get into here, that helped us tactically as we go through buildings. And then if an incident does occur, we have that information we can draw upon.
And as the investigation continues, every officer, every detective, every person assigned to the case is working through their own trauma of that day and making a vow to the family. Any questions that they can't answer, they will. Now, the Springfield Police Department is being assisted by Illinois State Police at this time. Chief Winslow is asking anyone who might have any information, including possible relationships that the suspect had with the victims, to reach out. In the studio, Chris Carter, WAND News.